Carl and Damon here from Games, Brrraains A Head-Banging Life, gbhblofficial for short. And they made what into a TV series, Season 4, Episode 7 of Castlevania. I almost feel like a word should pop out my hands there. It is The Great Work. Directed by Sam Dietz and written by Warren Ellis. Gotta say, I always want to make sure these people get the fucking credit they deserve.
Yep.
Both directing and writing, stunning work. And we begin deep underground within Targa Vista with Ratko and Varney, the two vampires that kind of jumped in here, as we're going to sort of progress them and their roles in the grand scheme of things. The former revealing to the latter that they now know the location of the underground core, because that device, previously implanted on Zamfir in a different episode, was a tracking stone. Yep. The two vampires then argue about whose plan it was and who they are. Ratko mocks Varney as being a mere criminal. Ratko questions Varney's position under Dracula, insulting his role in all of this. And Ratko calls himself a perfect vampire, unlike Varney. Now, this scene goes in a little bit, and you could argue it's a little bit like, what's the point of it all?
Yeah.
But I think it's written because they want you to now look at Varney and go, what's your deal, bro?
Yes.
Now, I still maintain a criticism that I made a few episodes ago, that introducing Varney in this episode was a little bit of a... in this season, was a little bit of a mistake. And had Varney appeared in previous episodes, even as a background character, even at Dracula's court. Now, I know he says he was sent away from Dracula's court to complete his own mission and all that, and so on. But, like, had he been around, we occasionally seen him, it would have been a bit more like, okay. The problem is he felt brand new to this show.
Yeah, he's thrown into it, yeah.
And then when he cryptically suggests that he's not who Ratko thinks he is, I felt like, oh, man, maybe a little lazy writing that he just introduces his character to be the MacGuffin.
Yeah. I guess so, but I mean, I suppose it obviously...
How it plays out, I like it enough that I forgive it.
The big reveal at the end, yeah.
Exactly that.
Yeah.
How it plays out, because I am such a fan, I'm like, it's fine. It's fine. Nobody's writing is going to be perfect. You're never going to always do everything I like.
I do prefer... I can't remember the other guy's name.
Ratko.
Yeah, his fight with Trevor coming up is...
He's a powerful vampire, again.
Very, very powerful, yeah.
I always like the fact that they always make these characters, the ones that are given names almost, they aren't slums. They are vampires. They are powerful. In the town, Trevor and Cypher confront Zamfir and declare that they are sick of the waiting around and demand to be shown to the underground core. And Zamfir agrees, suggesting actually it was her idea. And that pisses Cypher off even more. Cypher does not like Zamfir at all. But I thought it was quite interesting because arguably Trevor and Cypher said what we were all thinking. They're like, we're tired of waiting around. Yeah. We're like, time to get on with it. At Dracula's castle, though, we go there. The townspeople are making it their home as best as possible. And inside we see Zencha Man wandering the halls, obviously just checking it out, just looking all innocently, except we see him placing magical stones and drawing chalk symbols behind paintings. So you know he's up to something.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Here's the thing, I have no problem with them letting us know that he's up to something, because what they're doing really well, other than we know that it's a plan to try and resurrect Dracula, we don't know what that plan is and how it plays out and how it relates to what Saint Germain wants. Arriving in a quiet room, he contacts the vampire Dragon, declaring that it is time. And we saw Dragon briefly in a previous episode, another vampire lord. High above the ground, children below get Alucard's attention, and he gives them a show, jumping from the top of the tower and stopping just short. Greta is watching this, teases the damn fear, but tells him that it was nice of you to do that kind of thing. And Alucard, he seems to enjoy putting on that little show. This is what Alucard needs in his life.
Yes, definitely.
It then turns to business, defences and food. Alucard offers her everything the castle has. And there was a great conversation where he's like, I don't really know what's in there. I don't think there's much. And she's like, have you looked in your stores?
There's plenty,
Yeah, before they turn their attention to defending the castle. Not a moment too soon, though, as Dragon has an army in the forest. And it is an army. Yeah. And you know what I thought was really cool, what this gives away about Dragon, is that he's a proper warrior.
Yes. Yeah.
He has formations. He is an army. This is what... And he almost like... Dracula should have used him, man.
Yeah, it's not like just
it's not chaotic. It's not just throwing things.
Yeah.
He is a plan. And it's marching. This army is marching upon the castle. There also, as we now see inside a carriage, a protected carriage, it's finally time. What was been hinted at before, we see a body that's stitched together from all these different parts and multiple courses. What is that called? It is a rebus, which of course is said to be the thing that can be used to create a gateway. Zamfir, back in Targa Vista, leads Trevor and Cypher to the underground core, and are we even surprised anymore? Are we even surprised by this show? It holds upper-class people who look like they may have lost their minds. I did think that was really depressing.
Yeah.
It was immediately depressing. And obviously, what is behind the curtain? Don't look behind the curtain. Because what you will find is the decaying corpses of the royal family. Zamfir has gone mad, deluded herself into believing that the royals are merely sleeping. And she's been preparing for their awakening at the expense of the people's well-being. I was Cypher here.
Pure madness, yeah.
Ugh, how frustrating, you idiot. Absolutely. But you know what? I was also like, yeah, it's been too happy in Castlevania.
Yeah.
We had lovely Hector and Isaac finding their peace and all that. Here is, and you know who always seems to get the worst of it? Alucard gets a bad rap a lot of the time. Actually, to be fair, so does Heck. Nobody has a good time in this.
No.
The first that Trevor and Cypher get the worst of humanity.
Constant crap, yeah.
Like that, they see the worst of humanity rather than the worst of vampires and stuff like that.
If that was Isaac, man, it'd be going insane the entire time. It'd never be good.
Cypher and Zamfir argue, and the former realizes that obviously Zamfir may be a little bit cray-cray, but she's also aware of this, which I thought was a really, really interesting layer. And I was like, does a crazy person really know they're crazy? They don't. And I was like, okay, so maybe a little bit more logical thinking here.
Yeah.
And then I kind of realized, and it will, it works for me while watching, because Cypher sees this and actually realizes that Zamfir is suffering. So she softens, and I softened as well. And I was like, okay, it's not about craziness, is it? She doesn't know what else to do. She's dedicated her life to this.
She's got no hope.
There's no hope. Yeah. She can't protect the people. She just is a lost soul. While they continue to talk, Trevor is looking around and finds more magic artifacts and kind of puts together that they go together. Now, there's an argument to say this is a lot of convenience, that he just finds this stuff. But I will remind you that it is a video game. And in video games, you do just sometimes find shit.
Yeah, I mean, it's convenient, but I suppose...
It is convenient.
There's a lot of royal treasure, so I suppose it's possible it would...
Artifacts like this would be amongst royal treasures.
Yeah.
Absolutely. It's just the fact that they're there and not lost somewhere, you know, and stuff like that.
The one weapon which will save everything.
Yeah, basically. Cypher starts to get through to Zamfir up until she suggests they abandon the court. Because Zamfir's like, can't do that. But happily, thankfully, I guess almost to a degree, it can't go any further as the court is now invaded by a horde of night creatures led by Varney and Repko. And we'll move away from that and come back to that. Finally, at Dracula's castle, night has fallen and all seems peaceful. And I was like, oh, I like the ending episodes like this.
Yep.
So we've done this already and we're doing it again. Enough so that the guards were almost drifting off. However, they're woken by the sound of an arriving army of night creatures. And that visual as well of the light in the coming from the forest it's just a great setup for the next episode. Now I think there's an argument to say this episode does tread a little water and is a little slow in places, but I think it needed to be because we just did one of the most frantic episodes we've seen of all of Castlevania, and we are also now about to hit the most frantic set of episodes you'll see in Castlevania. There is no slowing, well, except for the finale, there is no slowing down really here anymore. So I think they were like, okay, again, it's chess moves again. Similar to what I said in the previous episode. Right, because I hate to break it to you folks, but we're done with Hector and Isaac. Sort of. We will go back to them briefly.
A little chat,
But that is it for the most part. Their stories are effectively wrapped up. So now we needed to move Trevor and Cypher into the next position that they're in and get Alucard to protect his territory,
which I like because when the first time I watched it, I thought I hope they're not going to do something stupid like bring Hector and Isaac to help Alucard to the castle, because they've done that part.
Their story's ended.
Story's done now.
Yeah, it's ended. Yeah, I agree. All we need is a little resolution. The thing is, in fact, Isaac's story is completely finished. We need a little bit more on Hector based around what him and Lenore would do.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But even if they chose not to go back to that and they just left it as Lenore hiding in a thing, I would have been fine with that.
So would
I would have been fine with that. I would have seen that as an interesting ending of her hiding underground almost while Hector, walks to castle and stuff like that. Their stories are finished. We don't need them in it anymore. And it would have been disappointing because that would have been Hector and Isaac, or Isaac in the case, fighting for someone else's cause, which he isn't going to do anymore.
No.
So yes, it was right to kind of separate them and just focus on these guys and set them up for their final paths too.
Yep.
It is episode 7, the great work of season 4 Castlevania. You got any thoughts on it? You know what to do. Let us know in the comments. Thank you very much for watching. If you'd like to see more content like this, please consider hitting the subscribe button. It is gratefully appreciated. You can find us over at gbhbl.com, our full website where reviews, news and so much more goes up daily. We're also on all social media platforms, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Threads, at GBHBL. Just search for GBHBL and you will find us out there. We also have merchandise on sale. You can access the shop via the website.